How are you doing?
Um, okay, I guess.
What happened?
You want me to explain everything that happened?
If you want to, if you're
Okay,
willing to, yeah.
okay. Um, about a month ago, um, this one person who I was friends with, who I'd sexted a bit before, I found out that he had some very wrong urges that he was planning to rape a 14-year-old in real life, that he abused his boyfriend, that he was a literal pedophile and had CP saved
Can
on his computer, kept it.
can I ask for some clarification, definition clarifications?
Okay.
How old
Well,
were
this
you
person was uh,
in this story? How old are you?
16, and the
Okay,
person I'm talking about is 17.
okay. And when you
Yes,
say he was going to rape a 14-year-old, you mean statutorily rape or like forcibly rape?
forcibly rape.
Okay.
Well, I don't really know much of the difference, but like he planned to actually, like um, rape him without his consent, like
Yeah, so statutory just
at
means
all.
that the age difference or power differential makes it
Oh
rape,
no,
but
it's like
it's
forcibly rape.
you're like real rape. Okay.
Yeah, real rape.
Yeah.
Um, so after I found this out, I decided to try to expose him because I thought, well, in those situations, I wasn't, I hadn't really had much experience, but I thought in that situation you would want to expose this person. Um, I started collecting screenshots and things, and I found I tried to find out, like how young he was, like how much of a pedophile he was. He said he would have sex with a 7-year-old, I think. Um, and I also one really wrong thing I did was I didn't know the laws around CP and stuff. So because he said he had all this CP on his computer, and he was multiple times he was asking me, "Oh, do you want to see this? Do you want to see this?" And most of the time, and the times I said no. And one time I said yes, and then that was to I screenshotted it and sent it to the FBI. Like I sent an actual like FBI report on the page. I put all the information, put his details on there and stuff like that. So I had, that's one bad thing I did. Uh, I basically requested actual CP and screenshotted it. It was to report to the FBI, but that does make it okay. Um, so yes, and then after that, I I told the 14-year-old he planned to rape that um, he mustn't ever like visit that person in real life. I warned him not to do anything with him because that could lead to. I didn't say that was going to lead to him getting raped because I planned to say that after I exposed him, but that uh, he the 14-year-old messaged the person I was trying to expose, and that sort of made him find out um, I was entrapping him. And then after I exposed all this in a Google document, which I posted on Twitter. And originally, I didn't think I was going to get any backlash from this because in my mind I was thinking I'm exposing this predator, pedophile, rapist. Um, and I'll stop someone from getting raped. But after because of a few things, I did get backlash, which was deserved, and I'm revealed me to be a pretty fucked up person, especially due to one thing, which is which in the document I said didn't really have much to do with it, but I just said it because, first of all, I knew that he could blackmail me with it, and second of all, I thought, well, I should probably just say this anyway because the people deserve to know. In the past, the person who I was exposing, which was he's called Lucy, he had sexted some of my other friends before, and he had, without their permission, saved their nudes. And in the past, he offered to show me my friend's nudes without my friend's knowledge, and I said yes. And yeah, so that's a terrible thing I did, and that's that and me screenshotting and asking for the CP are the two main reasons I'd say why I'm getting this deserved backlash, and why I'm being and why I'm taking this long break. And I'm just saying, after this interview, I'm probably going to delete Discord and stuff. I've already forced myself off social media. I've blocked Twitter now from my internet myself, so I don't have the urge to go back on there. I basically left everything, and after this interview, I'm gonna leave Discord too. So I'm gonna take a long break from that.
Okay, I want to talk about whether this is deserved later, but just for now, I clearly don't think that you deserve the backlash. I'll present my case to you about why later, but can you describe the backlash?
Well, after I first posted the interview, at first I got some positive comments and stuff saying, with people saying, "Oh, good job, this person is horrible. I'm glad you exposed them." And after, there was like a couple people starting to say, "Look, this person was bad, but you also did some fucked up stuff." And then I replied to them saying, "Yes, that's true. I'm terrible for this, and I apologize to everyone I hurt, and I did apologize to everyone in private who I hurt by seeing their nudes." And then after, it started from a few people criticized me to some larger creators, especially some which weren't the biggest fans of me to begin with, saying that I did all this terrible stuff and at the right, but some of it did annoy me because it took out some context. Like some people saying, like just saying, I saved CP without, or I asked for CP without any context. I mean, it's still bad, but that kind of annoyed me. And then because of that, I made another document trying to clarify stuff and saying, I had good intentions with the download, with the screenshotting the CP to send it to the FBI, but I am completely in the wrong for the masturbating to my friend's nudes incident. And then that obviously saying, well, I did this thing bad, but this thing isn't as bad. That obviously you get a lot of even more backlash. And then I decided to leave the internet also because I realized how fucked up I was. And then sometimes like I have struggled to leave the internet because sometimes I still, well, before I name searched myself and stuff, because after basically my entire life being revolving around the internet for 2 years, it's very hard to just like leave in an instant and not see what people are saying about you, because while a lot of the stuff is true and that I am terrible, it does like sometimes annoy me, like seeing like some not so true things, because of course if you do something really bad, then you can't really say, well, you can't really call out the people saying not true stuff about you, because then they'll say, well, you still did this bad thing and stuff like that. But yeah, so I was basically forced off the internet, but also I think it's the right thing to do. I'm going off by my own accord as well. I think I definitely have a lot of issues, and I need to fix up my life basically.
Okay, so you're taking a break for mental health reasons. You say, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say yes. Well, it's not just a little break. I think it's be quite a long break, but for mental health reasons, and also because I mean, I kind of deserve it as a punishment or whatever, as well as. But the main reason is mental health.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at, is how much of this is you exiling yourself as self-punishment, or a kind of political move to signal to people that you acknowledge what you did was wrong, and how much of this is you trying to do what's best for your sanity?
Well, I think it's partly all of them. I think I definitely would never come back unless I know for sure that I've completely changed as a person, and that I'm better, and that I've fixed up my life. And also I'm leaving because I acknowledge, I want people to understand, I acknowledge what I did was wrong. I don't have any excuses for what I did and stuff. And also, like you said, it is sort of a self-exile, because I did do terrible stuff, and I don't really deserve to be back in the community. Well, probably ever, because even if I come back, I probably wouldn't rejoin the commentary community or whatever. If I come back, it'll just be, posting videos every once in a while, not really going back in the community. I don't think I would be welcomed anyway, but even if I was, I don't think I really, would deserve to be back in there.
How do you feel about me including any clips from people talking about you in this video?
I didn't think I would object to that. I've seen basically all the clips of people talking about me, because in the last couple of days I've cut myself off. I've unsubscribed from all the commentary channels I watched, because I want to separate myself from that now and stop the urge from going back online. But before that, I did basically watch all the videos about me and all the tweets about me. So
Are there any
I wouldn't object.
larger creators that you would recommend I look at?
Well, I think I've seen. Well, I mean, most of them are pretty fine, I guess. Well, I think Tom Dark Turkey Tom probably had the best take on this.
And in my opinion, he has some real promise as a creator. But instead, he decided to spend his time on Discord meeting these fucking freaks and being one himself. This seems to be an issue with a lot of kids online right now, where they get wrapped up in this gross shit on Discord, and from meeting anime profile pictures on Twitter. Certainly, the internet has some cool things about it, but when you're that young and you need help, it's not a conducive place for you to be, right? It's not a good place for your mental health. Being so lonely and like gravitating towards other lonely people will oftentimes result in some predatory and unscrupulous figures coming out of the woodwork. And make no mistake, there are many freaks out there who you did not want to meet. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of this disgusting story. I just wanted to kind of explain what happened and give my own take on it. There's not a lot else to say about it, honestly. It's something that's been on my mind for a few days since it happened. I haven't quite been able to shake it, and I guess this will be my opportunity to vent a little bit, okay? To vent my frustrations with the world, to explain my feelings, to explain my emotions, and now it's all out there.
That I'm pretty fucked up, and I clearly have some, mental health problems and something wrong with my life, and I need to just, get off the internet for a long time and just, fix up my life, I guess. And Augie RFC was also, he had a okay take.
Pieman is a fucking retard, which, to be honest, we kind of always knew. It's not like that surprising of a revelation here, but like, holy shit, dude. He threw his fucking life away at the age of like, what, 15, 16? Just by being a freak on Discord? Really? It's not even just about YouTube. Forget YouTube for a second, dude. This kid's fucked. He's fucked mentally. He's fucked in life. He's fucked on YouTube. I mean, why? All for what? Being horny on Discord? What a fucking loser. Again, this is the nicest anybody will ever say about Pieman. And he's completely, face dogs and stuff like that. I mean, it's just terrible. Kids sharing nudes. It's so fucking, like I said before, this entire story has like 20 degrees that makes it bad. It's not just bad because there's pedophilia and because there's like rape talk and stuff like that. It's bad because of like 50 different things. Literally all of these people are subhumans.
Can I tell you the context of this video series that I'm working on?
Sure.
My theory is basically that the pedophile hunting, finger pointing panic is an attempt by the community to self-police, to make up for the lack of safety rails and protections for minors on social media apps. So I think in most of these stories that we hear, including the ones you're telling me, there is some social media company facilitating these conversations, facilitating these video calls, people sending pictures to each other anonymously, and introducing these people to each other. And having grown up in the 90s, the idea that I would be able to have video calls or sext with adults who I met on the internet or who I was fans of, just all these confusing sort of incesty relationships that form in all these different communities. The idea that I could do that would be like alarming to anybody who heard about it. Now it's just normal. And I think that we, the users of these products, are trying to protect children with kind of purity testing and Puritanism, shame, the tools that we have to justify keeping the social media tools that we're being given. When I was a kid, if you wanted to see pictures of your classmates naked, you would have to go through some serious hoops to accomplish that. We didn't have digital cameras. When I was 16, I guess there were cell phone maybe my first no, actually I don't even think we had cell phone cameras. We had phones. We could text each other, but you couldn't text pictures. So if you want to see a picture of your classmates naked at 16, you would need to take a picture with a digital camera of them naked. But there's no way to easily send it around. Basically you'd have to be committing multiple crimes in order to accomplish this. But now we live in a world where somebody will just offer you. The people are constantly taking pictures of themselves naked, minors included, sending them around to whoever wants them. And now all you have to do is say yes when somebody asks you. And yet we view, or you seem to be viewing your actions in that context the same way we would view somebody who's climbing up the side of somebody's house and taking a picture of them naked through their window. So,
well, I think it's not too. I think that it is kind of comparable because it's not like they offered me. It's
I understand.
I got it through someone else.
I know, but I would make the claim, and I know that you and I have our disagreements about how good I am at knowing when something is normal or not. But I would make the claim that the average teenager, when asked if they want to see pictures of their friends naked, would say yes. I think that is a fairly normal response. What is abnormal about you is that you are honest about that. And so that's just my perspective. Like, I don't want to. I think you're very hard on yourself, and I know that if I am not hard on you, you're gonna start attacking me. So like, I don't want to have like a huge debate about it, but I just want you to know the that I think it's a witch hunt. I think you're caught up in it. In a way, on both sides, and in your well-meaning attempt to stop predators, and feeling like it is your duty and your job to play the role of FBI investigator. And then on the other side of it, you're also being the hunted, and it's just turning into this vicious game that is severely hurting people's mental health and also screwing up their lives, of pointing fingers and making accusations, and also viewing everybody's behavior in the least forgiving, least understanding light. I think that a break from social media might be good for you, because you might be able to spend time around people who will have more of a response. Like, well, if somebody asks you if you want to see pictures of your friends naked, like, especially if you're 16, of course you say yes. That's what any 16-year-old would do. Whereas online, you don't know people. Everybody's terrified that they're going to be the next you or the next me, and so they're going to virtue signal at your expense and say, well, that's the same as crawling through their window, and I just really don't agree with that. So I guess my project is about trying to hold these companies accountable for the extremely dangerous and precarious positions they put minors in, and not just minors, kind of everybody, with the weird power differentials and the private communications and the high probability of exploitation and the ease of exploitation.
I definitely think that.
And then the shaming that we do to make up for it.
Well, I think it's not like a one or the other thing. I think that, I'm definitely wrong for what I did. Also, so it doesn't excuse these social media companies in any way. I definitely think there needs to be, something stopping this exploitation from happening. I think it's not, one or the other.
I don't think you did anything wrong.
I disagree.
I know.
I mean, I think that
maybe it's mildly wrong, but so mildly that like it's the difference between like stealing a candy bar from a store, and then or like the employee who works at the store being like, hey, I'm gonna throw this candy bar in with it, like, you can have this for free. Maybe 1% of people would say like, that's not yours to give, and put it back on the shelf. But I
think that's different than like something so like personal and stuff, and it's not even like them just offering like a random person's, like, even if it's a minus nudist, people who I was very close friends with, who I trusted them, they trusted me, and sort of ruining their trust in that sort of a way. I think it's much worse, because it's worse. It's bad either way, but it's worse because I was close friends with them, I think.
Yeah, but that's also why you wanted to see them.
Well,
I just
guess
think it's
it was
assumed
because
that most 16-year-olds want to see pictures of each other naked. And like,
I think many people would have thoughts of that, and probably many people would, but I think
you're
actually
overestimating
doing
the
that
number of people who would say no.
Well, to be honest, I don't really know that much people my age apart from the people I know online, so I wouldn't really be able to tell much.
I guess that's the point I'm trying to make, is that in online world, what you did is tantamount to some, like, a sex crime. In real world, I think if you ask any, like, psychologist or any police officer if they would be interested in pursuing that case, or if anybody thinks anybody really did anything wrong, I think you would just get a lot of shrugs and, like, sounds like pretty normal teenager behavior.
Still, I mean,
And the idea that you're in
when
the
I
same boat
first-
as somebody who's saying that they look at, like, actual child porn, or that they're planning to rape a 14-year-old is it just seems so, it feels like reality is, like, completely distorted.
So I mean, the way, like, at least what I feel, and even I said this in a couple apologies. I mean, the way I feel about it, it almost feels like I, like, raped them or something. The way I, like, abused their trust and you know pleasured myself sexually without their knowledge to private photos of them naked, which they didn't intend for me to see. It does feel like it's almost like a e-rape situation.
I think that there is an assumption of trust that you're making that is not reasonable for teenagers or college students to have about each other. I can't imagine, like, my friends or people I knew, acquaintances in high school, assuming that if I could somehow have naked pictures of them that I wouldn't want them or I wouldn't take them. I just don't think that level of purity is realistic or fair.
I think that, especially with, like, close friends, that there's a level of trust where it's not okay to break that, especially to that level in any circumstance. And I don't think it's, and I don't think it's, well, something where it's like, well, I understand, blah blah blah. I think it's like, no, this isn't okay. We're, close friends, and that trust level, that's just completely been broken by that.
And you think my view that you're holding yourself to a kind of inhuman standard is wrong?
I definitely disagree with your stance.
So, given that context, I just want you to know, like, what I'm thinking as you're telling this story. Do you want to talk about round one?
I'm happy to talk about whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I think that the context that this is the second time this has happened to you in a year and a half. Is that timeline
Bit
right?
over
Like
a
October?
year, yes.
Okay.
Well, last time was December 2020, and this time
December
was
2020.
February 2022. So
Okay. Yeah. Can you tell me what happened there?
with round one, there was this girl who was in sort of in the small commentary community, who often was extremely sexual with many people, myself included. I mean, she never, shared any images or stuff. She just, like, often, she was like almost like a simp trap. I mean, she, constantly said she wants to fuck people and was acting all like that. like publicly, and she said that she was 13 and I was 15 at the time, and I interacted with her a few times. I thought that was pretty hot. And then after she revealed that she was actually 12, not 13, and I was very shocked by this because at that age I wasn't attracted to 12-year-olds in any way. And then when I was a bit confused because I'd just been talking sexually and stuff with her before, I said, "Oh, that's pretty hot." I'm maybe even turned a bit on more by the age gap, which is I didn't actually mean that. I was just a bit confused because we'd just been talking sexually, and I found that hot, and then straight away I found out no, she's actually 12, and yeah. And then those screenshots got leaked, and then obviously that looks pretty bad, saying that I'm turned on more by the age gap of the girl, which was now 3 years instead of 2 at the age gap. And then I was basically like cancelled by everyone, and people saying I'm a pedophile, I grow up to be a pedophile rapist and stuff. And then I left the internet, and then I said I was gonna commit suicide, and then I didn't end up doing it. I had those thoughts and stuff, but I didn't end up doing it. And after I posted that, basically everyone's tone like completely flipped, and it went from oh, he's a pedophile, terrible person, to oh, people were going too harsh on him. It's not actually that bad and stuff like that. And then basically I came back a couple months after that, and then the drama with Johnson happened because he was after then he said that I was suicide baiting and stuff like that, and then that turned into a thing. But he's apologized to me. We're over that thing. But yeah, that's what happened with the first controversy.
So people can forgive you if you're suicidal.
Well, it didn't seem like they forgave me after that. It more seemed like they were going, like they switched from saying it was terrible to almost I didn't do anything wrong after that.
Okay. And what do you... I don't think you did anything wrong, but what do you think?
I think with the first controversy, when I was confused, I said something which I probably shouldn't, but I didn't, mean what I said. I was just kind of confused at that moment. But I didn't think, almost anything people said at the time was correct. I don't think it, makes me, a pedophile or a creep or anything. I think I said something when I was confused, which I didn't mean.
You think we're both getting what we deserve?
Well, in the first controversy, I think I didn't really deserve really what happened.
Right. But now?
With this situation now, I think I am getting what I deserve.
What about me?
I think a lot of the stuff people say about you does go too far. For example, I don't really think you are a pedophile. I think a lot of the things people say are definitely, if not hyperbolic, just wrong. I do think there are a lot of valid things people say about you that may make you seem kind of weird. But I don't think it's I mean, it's definitely affected you in terms of, you know, your reputation and stuff. But I don't think you didn't expect that in the first place from the videos you were putting out. I think you kind of expected a lot of the backlash.
Yeah, and you're getting the rug pulled out from underneath you. You were trying to do a good thing.
I definitely think I had good intentions with the Google Doc and stuff, but I think with me accepting my friend's news thing, that didn't have any good intentions. That was me doing something which I knew was wrong 3 times. So that wasn't me trying to do a good thing there.
What do you think about my theory that the reason you're so hard on yourself, or that all of you are so hard on yourselves and each other, particularly in commentary, particularly teenagers, is to make up for neglect by adults?
I don't really think that's the case. I mean, first of all, I think, you know, like I said repeatedly, I think the backlash I got was deserved. But I think a lot of the times when commentary is harder on subjects relating to, you know, pedophilia or grooming and stuff than other communities is more because the commentary community, you know, it's a community about people criticizing other creators, about calling out people, and of course the big bad thing is, you know, pedophilia and grooming, and people, basically everyone, commentary has made videos calling out people for those sort of sexual misdeeds, and of course then that would get the commentary community would be harsher on that than other creators, because a lot of commentary revolves around criticizing people for those subjects.
I see you as a victim here.
I think the real victims are the people whose trust I broke, and I don't think anything that happens, even if, like, you know, in some cases, like the backlash against me from some people may have gone too far, like people, you know, spamming my comments with "I like kids" and stuff like that. I mean, I didn't think any of that would even compare to the victimhood of the people who are the actual victims in this circumstance.
I just think you're talking about yourself like you're 25. I just don't think it's fair. You're very smart, so I understand why you might like you're smarter than a lot of 25-year-olds. That's pretty obvious, but I think that it's not fair. You're not actually 25.
Well, I think even as a 16-year-old, I have, you know, and a 16-year-old who is, you know, online, which I think has an even higher degree of responsibility when dealing with that sort of stuff. I think that even a 16-year-old has to have a level of maturity and self-control, which I didn't have in those situations. I mean, this doesn't happen. I mean, if this was a normal thing and you can expect it from people, then then why would my case be? Then what happened to me? Like what I did be so like rare? Because I mean, I don't. Maybe it's in other
Because you told
corners
people.
of the internet.
it's not. It's first of all, I don't think it's rare. I think teenagers all around the world are constantly sending each other pictures of each other naked, showing each other pictures of each other naked.
I don't think showing pictures of their friends
I
naked
think
happens.
I think they are. I think it does. I think they are doing that. What,
I
what do
mean,
you think
I
Snapchat
don't.
has a feature where it tells you when somebody took a screenshot? You think that's just for the 1% of people who would dare to do that? I don't think so. I think that you are holding yourself to a highly unrealistic standard and the standard you're setting for yourself benefits these companies. That you are taking all of the blame.
I mean,
The,
I
the,
I
the,
think
the,
I can take. I think I can take blame as well as the companies. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's one or the other. I think I'm to blame and these companies are also to blame. But again, I mean, I definitely think that minors sharing nudes with each other is very common. I think almost all minors, even in the commentary community, have done it.
yeah.
But I think sharing nudes of friends with each other and
Hmm.
of other people, I think that's not as common as you think. I think it's actually, it's something that's rare and disgusting.
I think it might be common and disgusting. I also think that I'm, the first person you were talking about is obviously unusual. Their behavior is more unusual for sure, obviously, and so it might be that two more kind of normal, averagely moraled people what might have less occasion to share like disallowed nudes with each other. But yeah, I think if you have somebody who's going around to 16-year-olds saying like, "Hey, do you want to see pictures of your friends naked?" Well, that person sounds pretty strange in this case for sure. I don't think saying yes to that is out of the ordinary. I know we're just going in circles, so I just really want to convince you that you didn't do anything wrong, but I know I can't.
Well, I think that would be, extremely hard to do, especially because, these people who I consider and still consider friends, just it breaks my heart seeing like thinking about what I've done to them. And I mean, I don't even feel like I could ever really forgive myself for what I did to them.
Well, I hope that's not true. Okay, well, you're saying that this is the last thing you're going to do on the internet for a while. Is there anything that you feel like we need to cover or anything you want to say?
I don't really think there's anything for me to say at this point. I mean, I know that, once this interview goes public, a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, he's back on the internet, and he's this is proof he can't change and stuff, and he can't control going on the internet and stuff." I'm just saying this is, the last thing I want to do. It's, and after this, that's it for a very long time. Otherwise, I don't think there's really anything else for me to say. Uh, is there anything else you want to cover?
don't think so.
Um, well, thanks for having me on. I guess.
Yeah. Thanks for talking.
Yeah. See ya.
Take care of yourself.